just going to share with you the insights I've gained from why a lot of hoteliers do not understand whether a food F&B outlet, especially a restaurant, is not making or not making money. When I came to the hotel line, I don't know anything about hotel. So what I did was, I basically, approach 3 5-star hotels in KL, and I make friends with the department head of each hotel, and by telling them that I would like to do island lunch, but at the same time, can you share with me your knowledge about the industry so that it will speed up my knowledge about the industry. So almost everyone that I approached, they were very, very helpful. And I talked to them and I know their background in training. Some were, a lot were trained in hospitality, for example, in Switzerland, etc. And they are extremely good in what they're doing, like service, specific job in terms of chef, etc. But overall, I've learned one thing: they are not trained to look through a business plan the strategy, plan direction, and execute those plans into action, right? And that's a gap. Even today, as I meet hoteliers, the same issue still is there, right? So when I took over the hotel, I was sharing about my frustration that the Chinese restaurant cannot make money, the French bistro cannot make money. And I know, but when I share with my hotel consultant, he just told me it's like that, it's to lose money, which I can't accept, right? So when I start to do that, right, then I was trying to learn why. Then basically, when I started my own hotel company, managing people and management myself, then I have to follow the American Hotel and Motel Association standard of accounting, because that's a Bible of accounting for hotel. I think it's now the name is changed to American Lodging and Hospitality Association. So if you go through that accounting procedure that they set up, basically the room division is there, and then you work until you reach gross profit. The F&B, they take the totality of F&B, of the income, and then they deduct direct costs, etc., until they reach gross profit. And the two gross profits are added together before they start to deduct utilities, they deduct overhead, finance costs, etc., all the way down, right? So if you look at the profit and loss of the hotel, it's only at the GM level he will understand the full profit and loss of the hotel. But individual people running the different department, they don't have a clue of whether they are making money. They are making gross profit, but gross profit is not your profit, right? And typically, if I interview people coming and say, I'm the restaurant manager, I'm the F&B manager, they only know one part of the knowledge, the revenue part and the direct cost deduction, right? On top of that, as I mentioned, the structure is a functional structure. All the kitchen report to the executive chef, all the service report to the F&B manager, and on top of that, you have to possibly have the chief steward. So again, you can't see the P&L of each department well, right? So the way we train our people is that we immediately set a profit center, change the reporting structure, so everything is there. We have meters for all the utilities for each outlet. It's charged there. We also charge accounting costs there. When I first started, I even charged commercial rental to find out, which, by the way, you should try. But I find that I don't need to do that anymore. Once I charge up to that point, the only thing missing is what commercial rental for the space. And because we know how many square foot is involved, I basically teach my manager that that is the rough cost. You just deduct in your head and you know whether you need P&L, right? And that is why our people quickly understand that in Malaysia, if you don't have 100,000 ringgit in sales, there's no way you're going to make money, right? Because after you deduct all these components out, it's practically the best you can do at 100,000 is break even. So impossible to make money. That's why I emphasize teaching on what is marginal costing, analyzing break-even analysis, and we optimize gross profit. We optimize gross profit. We don't optimize sales value, right? Again, optimizing sales value by dynamic pricing is good, but doing dynamic pricing for profit optimization is superior in my opinion. And that is how we train our people so that they are able to make decisions. But during my first hotel, one of the five-star GM was a regional manager for that brand. There's one thing he did tell me. He said, "Dennis, you're on the right track," because our head office in America already gave instruction that we're going to go to profit center structure, profit center management. But this gentleman I know has since retired, so I do not know what's the progress in that company today. On top of what I was just saying just now, the books used for teaching hospitality business in the hospitality school are written by the same association, right? And inside there, you will see that how the reporting structure should be based on what I explained just now, and how the accounting standard should be, because they also have books on finance, basically follow even today what I'm telling you. The only exception is they now put a small word to say that you can also do profit center, profit and loss, right? So even in the master's program in the hospitality school, they still don't understand that, right? So in the master's program, basically they should be able to do more financial analysis, right? And overall, in Asia, I would say in Malaysia, a lot of people that goes into the hospitality school, they are not really strong in mathematics, and so if you're not very strong in mathematics, and a lot of coaching are more on a descriptive way of teaching something, it is very, very difficult to pick up all these skills because these require year-to-year practice. That's the other reason why in one of my other posts I mentioned that the way we develop our profit center manager leader is to make them in charge of a profit center as early as possible. Secondly, is we want them to be competent in all 8 functional areas. So we rotate them into the different committees so that they not only learn strategic planning and how to manage their business properly, but they are competent functionally. Otherwise, the danger is like this. A person in a hotel in sales, he knows sales. Then he get to the point where he become a room division manager or general manager. And the accounting system does not allow him to learn the responsibility of managing a profit center, right? Even F&B worse because multiple outlet, especially a 5-star. So the only time they get to really manage a profit and loss is when we become a GM. And truthfully, it's too late. They should be practicing it when they are young so that the competency level keep moving up. The other thing that we find with international management hotel, especially if they are expat, is the time they spend in each hotel is too short. I do not know how much they spend today. I hope it's longer, but it used to be 3 years. And basically the joke was, in the first year, you are learning the job. In the second year, you are doing your job. In the third year, you are pitching for a new job. Right? So it doesn't work. And then if you are familiar with strategy and implementation of strategy, thinking of a new strategy and get it implementing in the company it's a 5-year journey. So you can't learn anything in less than that.